Hello students, this is Ambuj sir. My last lecture was paused at methods of natural vegetative propagation by modified underground stems. Modified underground stems are of four types. These are rhizome, corm, bulb and tuber. In what ways do these modified forms of underground stems help in natural vegetative propagation? All that we studied in detail. Today, I am going to start lecture 4 of the same chapter. So, moving on further, I will take the subaerial stem, which is the next modified stem meant for natural vegetative propagation. Okay, let us begin. Subaerial stem. Dear students, these points explain the subaerial stem. Let us take one by one. First point says, subaerial stems lie prostrate on the ground or may get partially buried in the upper layer of the soil. Meaning, subaerial stems are weak. This is the very reason that they lie either prostrate on the ground or may get partially buried in the upper layer of the soil. So, don't be confused. Instead, remember always that subaerial stems may be found in two places. First, above the level of the earth, and second, below the level of the earth. Next point. These stems serve the function of vegetative propagation. Students, it has been observed that the subaerial stems help in vegetative propagation. That is, they give rise to the brand new plants. Next point. Therefore, such stems are called modified because normally stems do not produce new plants. Now, moving on to the next slide. Types of subaerial stem. Dear students, subaerial stems are of four basic types. These are number 1, runner, number 2, sucker, number 3, stolon, and the last, number 4, offset. Now we will discuss one by one. First, runner. Dear students, these points explain the features of runner. Let us take one by one. First point says, it is a creeping stem with long internodes running horizontally on the soil surface. Meaning, runner is a type of stem which is weak with long internodes. That is why it runs horizontally on the surface of the soil. Next point. The nodes bear axillary buds, scale leaves, and adventitious roots. A large number of runners are produced by a mother runner in all the directions. Students, you are already informed in lower classes that the node of plants bears leaves, and in the axil of leaves a bud is there which is called an axillary bud. The same is here in the case of the runner. In fact, all that we have to understand at this point is the appearance of the adventitious roots. Since runner is a weak stem and runs horizontally, so wherever the nodes come in the contact of soil, adventitious roots start coming out along with a number of runners and an aerial branch from the axillary bud present on the mother runner. Finally, we reach the last point, that is, the runners break off and grow into individual plants. Thus, they help in vegetative propagation. Now, come on to the examples. Cynodon dactylon, commonly known as doob grass, and Oxalis corniculata, commonly known as wood sorrel, are the best examples of runners. To sum up, now we come on to the illustration. This is an illustration of the runner of Cynodon dactylon. Students, concentrate on the note that gives rise aerial branch, runner, and the adventitious root. Thus, an individual plant comes into existence. In fact, this exhibits vegetative propagation. Now moving on to the next slide. Sucker. Dear students, these points explain the features of sucker. Let us take one by one. The first point says, sucker arises from the basal underground part of the main stem. This is my observation that most of the students do not have a clear concept when they talk about the origin of the sucker. Therefore, all that I would like to focus on at this point is suckers arise from the basal part of the main stem, which is in fact underground. Next point. It grows horizontally for a distance under the soil and then emerges obliquely upwards, develops a leafy shoot, strikes roots, and forms a daughter plant. Meaning, ultimately, the suckers form daughter plants, but having attained a distance under the soil surface. This helps in vegetative propagation, as the last point says. Now, come on to the examples. Mentha arvensis, commonly called pudina, and Chrysanthemum indicum, commonly called Wildaudi, are examples of suckers. To sum up, now we come on to the illustration. Well, this is an illustration of the sucker of chrysanthemum. Students, concentrate on the basal underground part of the main stem or mother plant. This part gives rise to horizontal branches. These branches are in fact the suckers, which grow for a distance under the soil surface and finally emerge out as sucker plant or daughter plant. Now moving on to the next slide. Stolon. Dear students, these points explain the features of stolon. Let us take one by one. The first point says, stolon is a slender lateral branch which originates from the base of the stem. Meaning, stolon is a long and thin branch that appears laterally from the base of the main stem. Here a question arises, how is this stolon different from that of the sucker, as it also arises from the base of the main stem? In this connection, students, you always remember that stolons appear above the surface of the soil, while suckers below the surface of the soil. Next point, it first grows obliquely above the ground, thereafter produces a loop and bends down towards the ground. Meaning, stolon first appears from the mother plant, thereafter grows obliquely upwards. Further, it makes an arc or loop and finally bends down towards the ground. Next point, when touches the ground, it produces roots and becomes a daughter plant. In this way, stolon help in vegetative propagation as mentioned in the last point. A question arises here, how is a stolon different from that of a runner, as both of them grow and run above the soil surface and give rise roots wherever the nodes touch the ground? In answer to this question, I would like to share two facts. Number one, the stolons have comparatively large internodes, and number two, the stolons during growth always make an arc or loop on the surface of the ground, while the runner grows prostrate, that is, lying flat on the surface of the ground during its growth. Now proceed with the examples. As far as the examples are concerned, Fragaria vesica, commonly known as strawberry, is a well-known example of stolon. To sum up, now we come on to the illustration. Well, this is an illustration of Fragaria vesica. Students, just concentrate on the basal part of the mother plant just above the surface of the soil. This part gives rise to a slender branch, which is in fact the stolon. It grows, makes a loop, and finally touches the ground, where it produces roots. In this way, a new plant or daughter plant comes into existence, and the concept of vegetative propagation becomes established. Now, moving on to the next slide. Offset. Dear students, offset is the last type of the subaerial stem. It is just like a runner, but unlike that, it is found in aquatic habitat. These are the points that explain the features of offset. The first point says that it is a weak, elongated, and horizontal branch of one internode that arises in the axil of a leaf. Next point says at the tip it produces clusters of leaves above and tufts of roots below. In this way, a daughter plant is formed. Thus, it helps in vegetative propagation. Now, moving on to the last point that says about the occurrence of the offset. Well, the offsets are found usually in aquatic plants and rarely in terrestrial plants. Now, come on to the examples. Eichhornia crassipes, commonly called water hyacinth, and Pistia statutes, commonly called water lettuce, are well-known examples of the plants bearing offset. To sum up, now we come on to the illustrations. Well, this is an illustration of Eichhornia crassipes, and It is of Pistia statutes. In both the illustrations, offset is clearly visible in the form of an elongated and horizontal branch. At the tip, it forms clusters of leaves and tufts of roots, thus fulfills the concept of vegetative propagation. Students, out of these two illustrations, I would like to add some more information about Eichhornia crassipes. Well, it is famous as terror of Bengal because it is one of the most invasive weeds found growing wherever there is standing water. It drains oxygen from the water, which leads to the death of fishes. Dear students, till now we have finished vegetative propagation by modified subaerial stem. Now we will proceed with vegetative propagation by aerial stem. The first question that arises here is, what is the aerial stem? Well, a stem with an erect or vertical growth habit is called the aerial stem. Now we come on to the modifications. Dear students, the way we studied modifications in the underground and subaerial stems, aerial stems also undergo modification in order to propagate vegetatively. A well-known example of aerial modification of a stem mentioned in NCERT is a bulbil. Dear students, whatever I have expressed about the aerial stem, the summary of that is as follows. Now moving on to the next slide. Bulbil. Bulbil is an aerial modification of the bud present in the axil of leaf. This is because of the storage of food. Examples of bulbil are Dioscorea, oxalis and agave. Out of these, in Dioscorea and oxalis, vegetative bud becomes modified into bulbil, whereas in agave it is floral bud. Bulbils grow into new plants, thus helping in vegetative propagation. This is the point-wise summary of what I expressed. Now, moving on to the illustrations. This is stem of agave showing bulbil, and this is the germination of bulbil establishing vegetative propagation. Dear students, at this juncture, we have completed vegetative propagation by modified stems. Now, we will proceed with vegetative propagation by modified roots. If a root performs some additional functions other than normal, the root is called modified. Dear students, in lower classes, you must have studied that roots perform two functions which are normal. Number one, anchorage, and number two, absorption. Additional functions are so many like storage, mechanical support, hostorial function, assimilation, respiration, symbiosis, and of course propagation, or you can say reproduction. Now, if the root performs any of the additional functions besides normal, the root becomes modified. Now, Of which additional function we are concerned about? Of course, it is propagation. Dear students, the roots which are supposed for propagation are tuberous and have adventitious buds. Obviously, at the arrival of favorable conditions, these buds develop into new shoots and fulfill the concept of vegetative propagation. Now, we come on to the examples. Ipomoea batatas, commonly called sweet potato, and Dahlia pinnata, which is an ornamental flowering plant, are examples of modified roots undergoing vegetative propagation. Now, these are the main points of my explanation. To sum up, now we move on to the illustration. Well, this is an illustration of dahlia showing natural vegetative propagation by root tuber. Dear students, concentrate on the illustration. The root tubers are very visible. You can also observe the adventitious buds and emergence of the new shoot from these buds. Now moving on to the next slide. Vegetative propagation by modified leaves. Dear students, just like the stem and roots, there are some leaves which also perform additional functions. Such leaves are therefore called modified. Among various functions, these leaves also perform propagation. An example of such a modified leaf is Bryophyllum. Bryophyllum develops adventitious buds in its leaf notches. These buds grow into plantlets in the intact leaves of the species of Bryophyllum dagremontianum. In other species, the buds sprout only when the leaf falls on the soil. This is the point-wise summary of what I expressed. To sum up, now we move on to the illustrations. This is a young leaf of Bryophyllum with adventitious buds in its marginal notches, and this is a mature leaf of Bryophyllum showing growth of buds into plantlets. Now moving on to the next slide. Questions for practice. Dear students, these are some of the questions that cover the entire lecture. Evaluate yourself by answering these questions. Besides, make your own notes based on the lecture. Your notebooks will be checked during normal schooling. Thanks for listening to me. In my upcoming video, I will be back with some more energy. Till then, take care, stay at home, and keep learning.